All right, Shalom Akim. All praises goes to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors goes into the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, from whom we learn the truth. And much love and peace and blessings goes out to all you hopeful elect brothers that are teaching the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, as well as these sincere listeners that are coming back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So this is going to be a lesson, and I'm gonna entitle it "The Seleucids Trust in the Enemy in Voting," right? Because all these concepts are intertwined. You know, these different happenings, they're all connected. Because right now in America, you have this whole voting thing going on, picking people in which people believe they're going to pick their next presidential candidate to be the president, and they believe that as soon as they add up these votes, that whoever voted the most for on this side, you know, they did a certain effect to change the country, right? To bring in a certain righteous rulership or a more efficient president, even though we know that whole narrative is really a lie, because the presidents are selected. And furthermore, when it comes to the options between presidents, guess what? They're heathens. They're Edomites. And the Edomites are the enemy of you Israelites out there, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But who is out there voting? You people, our people. Our people, the Israelites, are voting when they're not supposed to be voting. They're all into the political system of this country when they're not supposed to be. Because let me show you this. It says, USA Today. It's from USA Today. It says, Black, Latino, Asian, and Native Americans flock to polls amid deadly, difficult year for brown and black people. So, hey, the article says it all. I don't even think I want to read any of this, the actual article itself, because the title says it all. You know, that our people are, it's evident. Our people are flocking to the polls, to going out there and voting. But you're voting for the devil, man. Because look, you Israelites out there, your God is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Your God is Yahweh. Your king is Yahushai. That's who you vote for. Place your ballot. You go through it, placing it on a physical ballot. It goes into, you know, believing in Yahushai. Believing in Yahushai. That's how you cast your vote on him. If you want to use those terminologies, if you want to have a understanding of who you should be relying upon this time, relying upon in this time. You see what I'm saying? So let's go to, hold up. Man, this article, this page is kind of messing up. So Salaki for that. Matter of fact, let's read this. It says, before Dickie Fontaine, a 75-year-old retired Philadelphia school teacher, bundled up and headed out into the 40-degree chill to be among the first in line at her local polling precinct in the predominantly black neighborhood of Mount Airy. While she waited for doors to open, she thought about her parents and great-grandparents who fought for the right to vote in North Carolina. If they could stand out and be beaten and suffer trying to vote, I can certainly stand in line, it said Fontaine, who cast her vote for former vice president and Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden. I wanted to make this personal. I wanted to be here. You see what I'm saying? So Jake is caught up in that narrative that voting was something that they suffered for. In that sense, you would be doing a dishonor to your grandparents and great grandparents if you didn't vote. Well, guess what? To hell with the fuck they got what they're talking about, what they fought for. If niggas in the past have fought for us to vote or for us to goddamn eat pork, To hell with all that, because there's no respect of persons in judgment. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, his decrees and his laws outrank everything. And what about the forefathers before them? Do you think our forefathers, such as an example, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the men that lived during the time of Yahushai, the believers in Yahushai, the mighty men of King David, you think they are for you Israelites voted? No, they're not. And guess what? They're your ancestors. Those are your great times 20 times 40, 50 grandparents and so forth, man. Grandfathers and grandmothers. And they don't approve. The ancient Israelites don't approve of this shit. You know, they certainly don't, because for one, it's going off against the law, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures. Let's see if I can find this. Let's see this. This is Deuteronomy 17 and verse 14. It says, when thou art come into the land which Yahweh thy God giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. You see? And why? Because the king, the duty of your government, starting with your king, your chief ruler, which is a male, is not supposed to be of another nation. Because look, the other nations, their laws and their administration is adverse unto what the Israelites are supposed to be doing. Esau brings in things like LGBTQ rights, pedophilia, witchcraft, odd traditions. You see what I'm saying? So that's why this whole concept is going off. You voting for Biden, this nigga talking about universal health care, but he's still calling you black. He's still calling you a Native American. We are none of those things. You're Israelites. You see, they're feeding you with false information and also putting wicked laws over you to have you sin against the Most High, and also allowing you having no laws against the wickedness that's prescribed in the scriptures, like adultery. When's the last nigga that got put to death in America for adultery? When's the last president that had to put a ban on adultery? There wasn't. All right. So anyway, this just show you nigga behavior, man. So this is another article. It says from November 2nd, 2020. So this was yesterday. From Reuters.com, it says, you are no longer my mother. A divided America will struggle to heal after Trump era. It says, when lifelong Democrat Myra Gomez told her, Myra, however you say her name, Gomez, was more than likely she would be a Israelite, probably a Hispanic from from the tribe of Issachar. It says, when lifelong Democrat Myra Gomez told her 21-year-old son 5 months ago that she was voting for Donald Trump in Tuesday's presidential election, he cut her out of his life. He specifically told me, you are no longer my mother because you are voting for Trump. Gomez, 41, a personal care worker in Milwaukee, told Reuters their last conversation was so bitter that she is not sure they can reconcile, even if Trump loses his re-election bid. So there you have it, man. That's the type of division going on behind Israel trusting in this shit. And these are two Israelites, but you know what? They ain't Israelites. And physically they are, but in their minds they're corrupted by, this world and this world's view. So in essence, they're Egyptians, so to speak, because America is the modern day Egypt. You can say that if you're an American with that American mindset, that you're Egyptian as well. All right, because the Egyptians were the oppressors and the enslavers of the Israelites back then in the ancient world. So the American paradigm. Juice the work and the labor and the talent out of the Israelite community and give all the profit to the heathen, starting off with Esau. You see? And you Israelites, you trust in this same system that robbed you, that raped you, that enslaved you. Nothing was put as a wall, as a knife, so to speak, to cut that tradition of Israelite oppression. When did any of these Edomite presidents, from George Washington to Abraham Lincoln to goddamn Theodore Roosevelt, when did they ever condemn the actions and repair the actions of their forefathers? They never have. The proof in that is that these Edomites are still over here functioning. Because if they had any sense of grief for what they did, they would have gave the land back to the so-called Native American Indians, as well as paid for the crimes of putting the Southern Kingdom in slavery, which are the Israelites that came from the shores of West Africa to serve slavery in this land. So it's a total embarrassment, you as a so-called black or Hispanic or Native American person voting in this fucking country, man. You are ashamed to your ancestors. You ain't, man. Let's just read this. It says, Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. So that's what it is. You know, like you had these two Hispanics, this dude 21 years old talking about to his mom, "You're not my mother because you're voting for Trump." Wait, that's going off according to the scriptures as well, because don't the scriptures say honor thy mother and thy father? So you're going to tell your mother she's not your mother for voting for Trump? You see what I'm saying? You can tell her she's going off, but there's a thin line you cross between being disrespectful and getting your point across, you know? So you got families being divided behind this, and it's Israelite families, because both sides, you know, both parties on either side either trust a Democrat or Republican. So it brings them division. Well, the only way out, the only way that we can have peace is through believing, coming back to our own culture, coming back to our own. Let these devils have it as far as their rulership, the things that they choose to bring in. Because we have a power. We have a government. We have all of this. And that's why the Most High is divvying up this place. He's making it divided and weak. He's about to destroy this place. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 30 verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel but not of me." So what is their counsel of? They go on these different social media apps. These different campaigners are calling their phone, convincing Jake to vote. That's that counsel that's not of the Lord. It says, "And that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin." So what? They believe in Christianity, Islam, atheism. And under those false coverings, they do wickedness. They do voting, eating pork, committing adultery, being homosexuals, breaking the Sabbath, being unbelieving, being fearful in a carnal sense. You know, being niggas, you know, being wrathful, being gangbangers. That's what they all do. You know, the hardest nigga in these different major cities, they gonna vote for Biden, man. You know what I'm saying? So this is verse 2. It says, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked my mouth, and have not asked at my mouth. So that's what you Israelites don't do. You don't ask at the mouth of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to get you out your situation. You trust in a devil. You trust in a devil like fucking Joe Biden, man. That old creep. You know? Him and Donald Trump are a bunch of old creeps. Two pedophiles. It says to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and the trust in the shadow of Egypt. It was some of that strength. Jake relies on guns. You got niggas like the NFAC. They strengthen themselves with the strength of Pharaoh. The Pharaoh strength is his sword, as well as these different government policies. All his money. They like to get money so they can gain power. All these different things. Okay, but it says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. So that's what's going to be. It's going to be, since all this trust, all this belief in the American system is happening right now amongst you Israelites, that very same trust is going to be to what you will be ashamed of, because these governments are going to turn on you. Esau is going to turn on you. He's going to show you he's never for your benefit, because when he rolls out the vaccine, when he's microchipping people, he's going to throw you in internment camps if you don't take the microchip or the vaccine. You see what I'm saying? So then in that day, when you sitting there getting your goddamn head stumped in by martial law troops, right after you done voted, you're going to feel ashamed, because look, a lot of our people, even the ones that fucking vote, they know that they're Israelites. All right? So these niggas are going to be shameful when Yahweh Hashem Yahushai bring the wrath upon them. These stupid ass niggas, man. You know what? I just hate these. I hate you niggas, man. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. I hate you niggas in the state that you're in. We know in the kingdom you'll be okay. I'll dead my beef with the 2/3 after they come back righteous. But for now, fuck them. They're a bunch of backwards, low vibration people, man. I just hope that who's ever left that's still doing this wickedness, that's of a goddamn, have a shred of a brain cell in their head can repent. Other than that, the 2/3 are gone, man. These niggas, they're just wicked. A lot of them are smart, intelligent. They can put 2 and 2 together, but they choose what? Off behavior. Okay? They choose to be off because they're wicked, and they're not chosen. They're not covered with the covering of the Most High Spirit. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy. Okay, let's read it again. Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust who? Thine enemy. Esau, he's an enemy. Moab is an enemy. And you Israelites out here in America, you are in Esau's system. You are in Babylon. You are in the midst of Babylon the Great. So you shouldn't be trusting, because the scriptures say to never do it. Voting is a form of trusting in your enemy. Lo and behold. It says, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humbleth himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Just like how these Democrats and Republicans are doing. They're pandering to the people of color, so to speak, to get the votes. They're humbling themselves right now. Donald Trump, he's humbling himself. He's talking about a platinum plan. It says, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. You see, so you have to beware of these devils when they come speaking soft words, talking about peace, talking about a platinum plan. But what's in the fine print of that plan? You Israelites out there, you don't think like that, because you're so downtrodden and so gone. But that's no excuse, because every brother that's in the truth, every sister that's in the truth, so to speak, we have been downtrodden. It was a point when we believed in this system. It was a point when we, was fucked over, needed money, needed answers, but yet we sought the answers in spirituality. So what's the excuse for you rest of you jakes? It's not like we just came from a mountain somewhere and decided to start teaching the truth. No, we've been here. We've been through these different scenarios and environments that made us trust in this system. But it's the spirit that has to be put on you to actually change and repent, because those that don't change their behavior, they're ultimately not called. They're really not of them, whether they can stop doing what they're doing. But hey, nonetheless, we push the message to give warning to those that may take heed, that the Spirit of the Lord will choose. So let's go to. Now I wanted to bring out this in Maccabees. That's why I mentioned the Seleucids, because there's a pretty good story within, that whole era of the Seleucids, which is written in the book of First and Second Maccabees. That's where you get the time and the reigns of the Greeks. From the point when Alexander ruled until about the point when Rome started to rise. So this is First Maccabees 12 and 39. So it says, now Tryphon went about to get the kingdom of Asia, and Tryphon was an Edomite. He was an Edomite general that was trying to supplant that main Seleucid line so he could be king. I believe he was like a distant relative of. Let's keep reading. It says, now Tryphon went about to get the kingdom of Asia, and to kill Antiochus the king, that he might set the crown upon his own head. Howbeit he was afraid that Jonathan would not suffer him. And who was Jonathan? Jonathan was the brother of Judas Maccabees, because by this time Judas had already been slain in battle. And Jonathan was the captain of the host after Judas. Okay. It says, and that he would fight against him, wherefore he sought a way how to take Jonathan, that he might kill him. So he removed and came to Bethshan. So this Edomite was plotting. Then Jonathan went out to meet him with 40,000 men chosen for the battle, and came to Bethshan. Now when Tryphon saw Jonathan came with so great a force, he durst not stretch his hand against him, but received him honorably, and commended him unto all his friends, and gave him gifts, and commanded his men of war to be as obedient unto him as to himself. So this devil was speaking very lavish, very cunning, giving him gifts and making him feel comfortable. He made Jonathan put his guard down. It says, unto Jonathan also he said, why hast thou brought all this people to so great trouble, seeing there is no war betwixt us? Therefore send them now home again, and choose a few men to wait on thee, and come thou with me to Ptolemais, for I will give it to thee, and the rest of the strongholds and forces, and all that have any charge. As for me, I will return and depart, for this is the cause of my coming. So he, after softening Jonathan up, he said, well, send that army away. The army which he was scared of. He made Jonathan send them away. It says, so Jonathan, believing him, that was his mistake. That was Jonathan's mistake. Did as he bade him, and sent away his host, who went into the land of Judea. And with himself he retained but 3,000 men, of whom he sent 2,000 into Galilee, and 1,000 went with him. Now as soon as Jonathan entered into Ptolemais, they of Ptolemais shut the gates and took him, and all of them that came with him, and they slew with the sword. You see? So, there you have it. Jonathan trusted in the wicked, and he ended up slain. He believed them. So you Israelites you're going to find yourself in a similar stance when Esau switches up on you, and he brings the sword upon you. That's really what Esau is doing right now. He's getting it all nice and cozy for you, and then he's going to pretty much straight up just kill a lot of you. All right, so all praises goes to Yahweh, Shem Shai, and Shalom.